Hi, Nate Trosky here. I'd like to welcome you to our the presentation on the three hand actions, pick, press, and receive. And I'd also like to thank you, coaches and parents, for the job that you guys do in the baseball community on building these young players up. So thank you, and thank you for being difference makers. Um, to begin, I'd like to talk a little bit about my journey and understanding a little bit about my background in infield play. I've been studying infield play for over 35 years. And I'm not one to just accept information and teach it as truth, is an absolute. My style really is learning, observing, and then seeing how it plays true. And I've spent the last 35 years studying the hands. And the journey really begins with coming out of high school, going into college um, back in the late 80s. And the trend at that time is actually a trend that's happening today where the teach was press. That means your hands move forward into the ball. It's a positive glove action. So what happened was, as we went into college, the players were being almost reinvented. We were learning how to field the ball the way the coaches were telling us was the right way. So that became my style of feeling, was basically trying to press. Um, as I completed college and spent some time in professional baseball, I started to see differences. I started noticing that the professional players weren't doing what the college coaches were teaching. And it created a curiosity and also confusion on what really was the hand path. What are the actions of elite infielders? My mission as a coach and an infield coach as well is to develop elite infielders, elite movers with elite actions. And the best in the game are the major leaguers. Omar Vizquel is the best shortstop, arguably, to play the game. The best fielding percentage of all time. One season, his fielding percentage was .996. He had over 400 attempts and he made 3 errors. And when you look at the major leaguers, there's a commonality. What it is efficiency of movement. Their body is in sequence. They're in time. They have rhythm, and it's efficiency of movement. And the game is moving at the fastest speed, at the fastest pace. So they have to find efficiency, and their body organizes itself in an efficient space so that they can actually be repeatable and be consistent at the highest level, at the highest speed. So going into professional baseball, the confusion started to sit in because I'm seeing players feeling the ball different than our college coaches were teaching. And my journey in professional baseball started early as a coach. I was coaching the minor leagues at 22. So my experience was more as a coach, observing versus as a player, feeling. So I'm seeing and I'm watching all the other teams were taking pregame and noticing the hand actions. And basically it was confusing, definitely confusing, because what I was taught before and what I was seeing was completely different. And then I go into professional baseball with the Milwaukee Brewers. I've been with the Brewers for 20 years and observing. I'm an area code coach, and those are the top infielders in the world. One year, our infield was very special, but every year it's special. We usually have a first rounder every year, typically in our infield. And one year we had first round, first pick at shortstop, first round, second pick at third base, second round, about 60th pick at second base, and our first baseman was also a first rounder, like 12th pick. So we had 3 first rounders, first round, first pick, second pick, 13th pick, and a second rounder. And their signing bonuses was over $20 million. So observing players like this, Nolan Arenado was one of our infielders, Freddie Freeman. I could go through the list of, there's over 100 right now in the major leagues. And you see that they do things different. You're like, well, why? Why are they doing things different? And why, when we go back into the college world and the high school world, they're teaching the absolute opposite? And so I started to study the actions of the hands, and I started to study the movements, and came up with a concept which was about 12 years ago, maybe 15, about, we call it the 5 hops. And we're going to show a video, and this presentation is going to be about, we have about 10 videos we're going to show, and I'm going to go through them. We're going to show them. They're between 12 seconds and about a minute and a half. And they're going to show the different actions, the different drills that we used to teach the 3 actions, and why we teach them. And then I'll expand on each of the videos. So we'll get to the videos in a second. I just want to just reiterate that over time, the truth was being revealed. The truth wasn't being revealed from what someone told me. It was being revealed by watching what the best in the game do, the elite movers, the best in the game, elite infielders. And when I'd come back and run my showcases, which I've been doing for over 15 years, we typically have 30 college coaches that work the events, and I have the college coaches teach the infield portion, and I sit back and observe. And the majority of them over the last 15 years, we're continuing on the same path of press, 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 press. And there's actually college programs that teach if you don't press, meaning your hands move forward into the ball, you don't play. So let's watch our first video, and then we'll elaborate and we'll talk about what we see. Before we start the first video, I'd just like to explain what it is. We call it the 5-hop drill, and it's basically explaining the 5 hops of an infielder. And right here we have 4 balls up because the 5th ball, which goes actually at the end, at the top of the line, that's categorized as the ball that's rolling. So it's a roller. So we have a roller, we have a long hop, we have a long in between hop, we have a short in between hop, and we have a short hop. So right now we have 4 balls up, and the 5th ball that we don't have up is the roller.
When it's hot, you have to have judgment. What does that mean? Judgment. You got to decide, should I step up, should I step back, should I leap, should I see, because you're reading the bounce, right? You have to pick your hop. So pick your hop. So pick your hop. So short hop. A long hop. So what we have here is we have a short hop, a long hop, and we have 2 in between hops. Okay, what are the tough hops? The in between. So the secret is, can I take these in between hops and either make them what? We told you. Either short or long. And if I could make a short in between or a long in between, say short in between, say long in between. Say short hop, long hop. So what I'm trying to do is make this short in between. Why do you think it's called short in between? Because it's almost what? What hop is this? That's a short hop, okay? What hop is that? Short in between. What is it? It's a short in between. So how do I make a short in between hop short? This is the play everybody struggles with. These 2 are the hardest in the game. If you can make a hop short or long, you don't even have to be that good, and you'll rarely ever make a mistake. Okay, but the problem is you can't control hops, because sometimes the ball's going fast and you can't even move your feet fast enough. So sometimes you have to manipulate with your hands before you manipulate with your what? Feet. So right now, I'm on this ball right here. I'm lined up for this short hop. Is that an easy play? Yeah, it's like a 2-point chop. It's very simple. Okay, now that ball right now is the short in between. If I go like this and funnel that, what's that ball going to do? It's going to grow and pop up and get me where? Yeah, it's going to bite me. It's going to get me. It's going to get me deep. Okay, and I'm going to get handcuffed and probably deep. I might be able to bare hand him and get him, but probably not. Just depends. Okay, so this hop, what am I going to do? I'm going to go like this. What is it now? Short hop. It's a short hop, but if I'm out of posture, look at my posture. Can I do it? No. So we talked earlier about what? Posture. So what allows you to have posture, you remember? Functional strength and what? Flexibility. So functional strength. Strong in my core and my legs, okay? And I have what? Flexibility. So I'm strong in my legs, and look at, I'm flexible. I can get there. Now, I can either reach, I can go one-handed, yeah, I can go either way, whatever the ball.
So what we saw in the video was 4 balls on the ground representing the different hops. So the ball that was the furthest away was the long hop. And we're going to put that in a category of being about 6 feet, but it could be 5 high. There's no exact mark, but we're going to just put it about 6 feet. It's a long hop. It's an easy hop. The second ball from the end was the long in between hop. And the third ball was the short in between. And the first ball was the short hop. The 2 hops that we want to field the ball on is short and long, right? Short is very easy. Long is very easy too. The hands can actually do either. They can go forward or back or come up. They can pick, press, or receive, but the preferred position, which we're going to talk about some of the percentages later, the preferred position is just to receive the ball. On the long hop, you have time and space, so you receive it. On the short hop, you have limited time and space. The ball is only bouncing around maybe 2 to 6 inches. So it doesn't really matter if you pick or receive because the ball is already a short hop. Now, if I press, my hands are colliding into the ball, working away from the center of my chest, which that's where the exchange happens. And then we have the short in between. It could be anywhere from 8 inches to 1.5 feet to 2 feet, depends how hard the ball's hit. The harder the ball is hit, the faster it's going to move. So the distance isn't quite as relative, is important. So when you get the short in between hop, we have to reach. We have to reach out and make that short in between hop a short hop. That is the play that we press on. It's the only play you press on. Can you press on a short hop? You can, but there's no reason to. It actually is counterproductive. So the short hop, which is roughly a 2 to 6 inch hop, you just pick it. You pick it or receive it. The short in between hop, you actually want to make it short because it's in between. You want to shorten the bounce to make it short because it's in the in-between phase. So you can reach forward, and I showed in the video, reaching and or stepping forward to shorten the hop. And then you have the long hop, which is long, the two preferred hops, short hop, long hop. And in front of the long hop is a long in-between hop. What do we do in the long in-between hop? If we press, we're probably going to wear it on our chest or maybe in our face because the ball is going to be in this in-between stage where you can't shorten it. So you're going to actually make it just a short in-between hop. It's going to go long in-between hop to a short in-between hop. So it's going to stay in between. So the key is to catch it as deep as possible so that you try to lengthen the hop. And if you have time, you can actually step back and work back with the ball, lengthening the hop. So the key is try to lengthen the long in between by either receiving it deep or stepping back. The short in between, we want to reach forward or step forward. So we're making those two hops, the two in between hops, either shorter or longer. The ball that's rolling, which is, we call it hop 5, there's 5 hops, and we just put it in the hop category. It really isn't hopping. It's just rolling. It's either a medium, hard, or slow roller, and it's just rolling along the ground. The rolling ball, you just receive. There's no reason to press because the whole purpose of pressing forward is to cut the distance of the hop down, to shorten it, to eliminate the in-between hop. When a ball's rolling, there's no hop. So we just receive the ball and take it efficiently back to the center of our midline to our lower chest. The 5 hops, and you're going to see in the drills that we show here, we're going to show you how to work the different hand actions and when to. The press, the pick, the receive. We're going to go to video number 2.
We want to have plus actions. We're not interested in just having decent actions. We're trying to separate ourselves. Job's going to work all 3 actions. There's not one action. You don't press through every play. You don't receive every play, and you don't pick every play. It's all different. The ball's going to tell you what to do with your actions, with your hands. Okay, so right now he's going to set up in his open stance. Here we got 3 lines right here. This is a 2 to 4 inch hop. This is a 6 to 12 inch hop. And this is either the long hop or the ball is rolling on the ground. So right now, hop number 1, he's just going to pick. It's the 2 to 4 inch hop. Hop number 2 is 6 to 12 inch. He's going to press through and make that short in between hop a short hop. And right here, our long hop where the ball is rolling, he's just going to receive it. So he's going to come back with a hinge. Nice job, and work to the center of his chest. So we're going to work all 3 right here. Short hop, he's just going to pick it. We're going 6 to 12 in between hop. He's going to press. Nice job. He's going long hop or roller. He's going to receive with the hinge.
Ground ball pulled. It's fair. Carpenter, long throw. What a play.
Bag at third. Through on the run to get Merrifield. Oh, that was not an easy play, and Ramirez made it beautifully.
Fox, Friday through Sunday. Castro's going to have to throw to second. Russell covering. They got him.
So we saw in the video there, we were working the backhand actions, and basically it's very similar from the forehand. which is to the glove side, and the neutral play, which is between the feet right out in front, and the straight up play. So, so the example that we see here is an example that you can translate over or transfer over into a ball that's hit straight at the infielder, we call neutral, or to the forehand side. So what we saw was the pick, which is working basically just straight up and back to the center of the chest where separation occurs. The pick is just working up with the ball, and it's already a short hop. So it's a short hop or it's rolling. We just pick it. Very easy. We're looking for quiet, efficient, easy actions with limited movement, efficient movements. We call it efficiency of movement. We're trying to simplify the actions, easy actions, easy on the eyes, easy levers that repeat. So we go pick. We said 2 to 6 inch hop. There's no exact like measurement because the speed of the ball will change. If the ball's hit harder, the ball's going to move faster. And so if the ball's moving on a steeper plane and slower, and it's going to work more directly up. So I might have to go press, even if the ball's maybe 6 inches from me. But if the ball's moving fast at 6 inches and skipping, it's going to work more like a short hop. So there's variations from the speed of the ball. So he picks the first one. Then the press is we were around a foot out in front, and he was reaching out, you notice. Then he worked up through it, working from the ground up. So he took that short in between hop and he made it a short hop. So he went pick, working up, easy actions, and he went press, he went forward and up. And then the receive was, we rolled it very firm, but that's representing either a long hop, a long in between hop, or a ball that's rolling on the ground. You noticed he was out in front and he received it back, giving and receiving. And that receiving action is going to be used also for balls that are hit very hard to cushion the ball so that the ball rests easy in the glove. So he went pick, press, receive on the backhand side. Then when you saw the major leaguers, what you saw was Carpenter. Carpenter was moving back and he worked up. He was working the pick action. And then you saw Ramirez, he worked a slight press, and he didn't really press. The ball was out in front, it was in between hop, but his hand was already out, and he basically kind of just went up with it, but he was working out, up and through. And then we had Castro moving back with a ball. And typically when you're moving back with a ball, you're going to use the momentum of the ball and receive. And you notice he received it, and then he went into a quick exchange, and he made a quick double play feed to the second baseman. So you saw the major leaguers using the 3 different actions: pick, press, receive, and the distance of the hop from the fielder and the speed and the shape and the depth of the hop determines, do I press? And you saw Ramirez's, the second play, it was steeper and it was more on front. So he went out to really cut that bounce down. Carpenter's was, he was moving back. And typically when you move back, you're going to receive more. He actually worked kind of up and back. And he was able to handle that short in between hop as he moved back. And finishing up with Castro, once again, he's moving back with the ball, so he's using the speed and momentum of the ball to work with him, so he stays with that rhythm. He has a quick exchange. Now let's go to video 3.
We're talking about efficiency of movement. The key is efficiency of movement. So when you incorporate this shoulder, it's slow. Okay, it's not efficient. It's a slow lever. It's a slow action. As he's placing the ball off the wall, what he's trying to do, he's trying to throw it in this range so it comes back so that his hand can be under his elbow. So go down in your fielding position right now, Javen. So right now he's in his fielding position. That hinge right there, that's what he's working. So he's just doing it standing. Okay, so he's just going back and forth, working this hinge. Notice he's trying to isolate elbow to fingertips. He's trying to stay on a plane where his hand just goes back, then it works right to the center of his chest. Now, right now, all he's doing is back and forth off the wall. Okay, go ahead and stick it, freeze. Now, notice the hinge, elbow to fingertip. Now, when he's ready to throw, all he does is he just separates the center of his body. He's already in his V slot, and he's ready to go. Okay, that's efficiency. That's repeatability. Keep the actions and levers loose. Go ahead and just shake them out a little bit right now. Just shake them. Just shake them. Feel very loose. And I want you to move your hand back and forth just like this, back and forth. Then when I say stop, you're going to stop it with a strong wrist. You're going to cock it. We're going to do it again. Loose, 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 stick it. Okay? We cock that wrist. Okay? We're going to cock it again. Loose, 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 stick it. Okay? Now work that elbow hinge. We're going to go back and forth. Elbow to fingertips, actions, actions. Effortless, quiet, easy. But remember, slow is smooth and smooth is quick and fast. So if you want to be quick and fast, you need to be smooth. You need to be suave.
The last shot of Turner in the video, it shows him coming in for a backhand, and he actually kind of combines. He receives and he picks. He receives and picks, and you notice the video is really showing the hinges. When we talk about the levers, there's basically two main levers: the wrist and the elbow, and we incorporate the shoulder. So we have three hinges. The two main hinges really are our wrist and elbow. And you notice how they're isolating elbow to fingertips when we're talking efficiency of movement. That saves time, that saves space, that creates repeatability. That's efficiency. And you see all those infielders from the first two, including Turner, to the third, working the elbow hinge back to the center of the chest. And you saw the first two, including Turner, were working receive, 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 and then the third infielder was picking. No pressing. You didn't see pressing on any of them. And they were working with mostly short hops. And I can't remember if it was long in between or long, but they were receiving the ball, working the hinge. That hinge translates over to the forehand side, also to the neutral position out in front. Let's go to video number 4. All those drills, those are a series of wall drills. And if you notice the efficiency, the repeatability, the speed that he's moving at with limited movement, he's in posture, his spine angle is straight, his head is quiet, he stays in posture the whole time. And the only thing that's moving is his hands, and everything's working off the center of the chest. And if you notice the repeatability over and over, well, as you start to elevate in the game speeds up. And the key is that the player doesn't try to speed up. But if he stays with efficiency in posture, his hands can actually work for him without moving the shoulder and all these extra parts, which actually is going to lose repeatability and lose efficiency. And it's going to start creating lots of margins for error. So when you see him working, every action is working back to the center, back to the center, back to the center. If he actually on any of those drills actually went out to get it, he would lose time, space, he would create movements out of sequence. So his rhythm and timing literally would be off. It would be like a bicycle chain if you have 2 sprockets and it's cycling smooth and clean. Then you add a third sprocket up here and it starts going like this. It's a hiccup. It's a hesitation. Can it still work? Yes, it can, but it's out of rhythm. It's out of timing. Those are actions that are not effortless. Those are actions that are difficult to repeat. And those are actions that are not smooth and efficient and quick. So actions going out away from the body, away from the center of the chest, creates the inefficiency, the instability, the lack of repeatability. Let's go to video 5. So we see there in the knee bucket drill, he's on his knees, he's isolating his hands, he's working, he starts with the neutral position out in front, he goes to backhand, he goes to forehand. Now, I want to point out the hands that you're seeing in this fielder, this high school infielder, these are plus hands. These are as good as hands as you're ever going to see. These are like 80 hands. And what you see when the 20-80 scale is the major league scale that we use to evaluate players. 80 is the best the game has. So Lindor's an 80 defender. When you think of a 80 pitcher, you can say Scherzer. I mean, these are the best of the best. Mike Trout's, all of his tools are anywhere from 70 to 80. He is a 5-tool player. So the hands that you're seeing are hands that you want to emulate. They're efficient, they're quiet, they're easy. They all separate back to the center. There's limited motion. Most of the actions are just going from elbow to fingertips, easy, quiet, effortless. And you notice how he's repeating over and over and over. The more simplistic the actions and the movements, the easier it is to repeat. And the key is once we feel the ball to work to the center, and that's where our separation happens, to set up in our V slot. The drills that he's doing also are very difficult. Most players, if I roll those drills in the dugout right there, I'm rolling them very fast. Most players can even do 2 in a row, 2 to 3 in a row. They would boot, and tennis balls, by the way, are very difficult to handle, but it's the receiving, and everything's receiving back to the center, back to the center. Notice all those balls are moving fast, so those are balls that you would receive on. They're not bouncing. There's no depth in the hop. There's no hops where he has to actually go out and pick a hop. So those are firm rollers or balls that are kind of skipping along the ground. Let's move into video number 6. In that video number 6, called DR Money, that is Robert Passant. Robert in that video was 15 years old. At the age of 14, he signed a contract verbally for $6 million. That's the number one infielder prospect in Latin America. He was the number one in all of Latin America. And when you look at his actions, and he's a 14-year-old, now he's with the Oakland A's here in the States, looking to be in the big leagues maybe in a year or two. And I believe he's around 18, 19 now. So Robert, when you look at his actions, they are the same as what you see from the other videos. The hands work easy to the center. The first play, he receives it. The second play, he comes and gets it one-handed, and he doesn't press, he just picks it. Pick it is more of an action just working up and through back to the center. So he receives the first one, picks the second one one-handed, and he comes back and he receives the third one. And when we're talking plus actions, these are plus actions. These actions are creating dollar value. I mean, $6 million bonus. That's pretty nice. And the player before in those videos, that's a Team USA shortstop committed to the number one team in the country as his freshman in high school. So these aren't just actions that I'm creating because I think they're nice movements. These are what we're seeing and what I've been studying over 35 years of what do the best hands actually do. The best hands that repeat, that have the least margin of error, and that are actually, beautiful to watch. I mean, it's a work of art. When you watch Robert, we just saw those 3 plays. Those are as good as actions as you'll ever see. I've been coaching infield for 30 years. He has arguably the best feet and hands I've ever seen. It's just easy. Everything is easy and effortless. Let's go to video number 7.
He's only 12 years old. This is what they do for hours. They just work on keeping the ball left to center, Steering left, right, coming through, ball center and chest, setting up on the V slot, over and over and over and over. Easy actions, right, loose. Got his flip-flops on, notice. The outside of the ball, whip off the left foot, get front foot timing. Hands always working at the center of his body. Nice, clean, easy separation, off the V slot.
Video number 7, that was the 12-year-old. And when you look at his actions, those are plus actions too. His actions, he has 80 actions. Now, the difference is the ball's not hopping, so there's no judgment. That doesn't mean he's a great infielder. It just means he has plus actions, which is a tremendous starting point. So when you see the Dominican infielders, they'll do that probably 50,000 times, if not maybe 100,000 times by the age of like 15. They roll balls and they work over and over and over. And if you notice his actions, as the ball was coming, making contact with his gloves, he was receiving, bringing it to the center, and immediately going right to his V slot. It's this rhythmic flow. It's a seamless action, easy, suave. It's just smooth. It's just like, it's really like the ball, it's like this exchange where the energy never stops. He's just redirecting. It's a rhythmic flow, redirecting the energy into his throwing hand. You see it over and over. It's just like this cycle. It's like a wave. Now, if he goes forward, he's going away from rhythm and timing and away from efficiency, which is going to put him out of sequence when now it's like abrupt to the eyes. What you see there are easy actions. Right when I took that video, I sent it to my buddy who's a former Major League shortstop who scouts in Major League Baseball. I said, check out this guy. This kid's 12 years old. He's got big league actions right now. And he said, looks pretty good, but can he hit? Right? Well, that's the second question. And also, does he have judgment? Can he pick hops? Because now you have to start incorporating, do I press? Do I receive? Or do I just pick the ball? And beautiful actions. And that's a 12-year-old there displaying some plus actions. Let's go to video number 8.
Trying to put the ball right on center or just left of center for him, okay? And this is literally all that we're doing. He's just getting a feel for the timing of working through the ball.
2 hops, he was working there in the video. Notice how quiet his body was, efficiency of movement, no movement at all. Starts in posture, stays in posture. He's working the elbow and wrist hinge. And notice half the plays, he was basically just coming up and just picking because the ball was already a short hop. It was about a 2 to 6 inch hop. There was 1 to 2 of them that were about 8 to 12 inches. And all he did was just reached out just a little bit. He went out anywhere from 2 to 4 inches and he shortened that short in between hop, made it a short hop, making it an easy hop to handle. And notice how easy his actions were working below the baseball, up and through, or just picking, just working out. Video number 9.
Actions, we're going to work pick, press, and receive. We're going to start with receive. I'm going to roll the balls firm. He's going to bring the hands to the center of his lower chest. Still feeling the ball in front. He's receiving. His hands are continuous. It's just a flow. He's not catching the ball. He's receiving the ball. On 2, we're going to pick. It's just going to be a short hop. He's going to pick the short hop. There's no action forward. There's no action back. Basically, he's just going to pick the hop and bring his hands to the center of lower chest. Flipping a nice, easy short hop to him. Set 3, we're going to work the press. We're going to take the short in between hop and we're going to make it short. He's going to reach out with one hand. He's going to press underneath it. And now we're going to work set number 4. We're going to alternate. We're going to go receive. I'm going to roll it firm on the ground. Then we're going to do short hop when we pick. And I'm going to do a press where he has to reach out and get it. Here we go. Set number 5, we're in the final set right now. It's unpredictable. So the reps, we can alternate. We can double them up. We can triple them up. We can alternate. He doesn't know what's coming. It's getting him game ready. It's more game-like.
No thinking, just reacting and responding. Here we go.
So video 9 here, we see the infielder is a sophomore in high school. He's committed to a Pac-12 college on a scholarship to play shortstop. And basically we're working with his hands on his knees, and we're just isolating the hands, and we're working on the 3 different actions: pick, press, receive. Notice the first one where he's receiving, I'm rolling him firm. Just rolling him fast. So he doesn't want to go forward and collide with the ball. He's receiving as the ball's coming in. He's starting to actually bring his hands in. Right as the ball starts to enter contact with his hands, he starts to bring them back. It's very easy and effortless. Then he goes into the pick where the ball's bouncing about 2 inches. So it's already a short hop. So all he does is picks it and brings it right back to the center. And then play number 3 is the press, where it's the short in between, where he goes out to make that short in between hop a short hop. Then we go predictable to unpredictable. We start mixing it up. So once he starts mastering the different actions with the different shapes and speeds of the ball, he's able to now unconsciously just move and react without any thought, and seeing if he can actually see, read, recognize, and react without any consciousness. And he was pretty good at it. But when you hit him ground balls, he's actually at times pressing when he should be picking, and picking when he should be receiving. So it's building it, the muscle memory. So we isolate on the knees, put the hours of work in so that he can get out on the field. His hands just work for him. Let's go to video number 10. Drill number 10 is a 3-part short hop. He starts with neutral, then he goes into forehand, he goes to backhand. And what you see is we start with no movement, and we're just throwing basically picks. So I'm trying to throw like 2 to 6 inch hops, throwing them firm at about a 3 o'clock sidearm slot, and he's just working up. Now, if I throw a ball out in front where it's a short in between, he's going to go get it. So he's reading the hop, but he's just working pick, pick, pick. Oh, he might have to press, pick, pick, he might have to press. So he's reading the speed, the distance, the shape of the hop. So as he's stationary, there's more picks going on because I'm throwing him short hops. Then we start moving back. You notice as he went back, his glove is working back. He's receiving the ball. That was just like Castro in the second video when he was turning that double play at shortstop, feeding the second baseman. As he moved back, his hands moved back with the rhythm of the ball. So as he moved back, he received. Then when he came forward, if you noticed, he actually, on some of them, he was actually reaching because the hop was quite a few feet out in front of him. And he didn't want to get stuck with that in between hop, so he reached. So we do the same progression into the forehand, the backhand, and then the neutral. We do it all. So he has 9 plays right there where he's working, and we did 3 reps within 9, so there was 27 reps right there. And he's working pick, press, receive, working forward, stationary, and back. So he's working all actions, all fielding positions, and that's a very special driller. You have to be a good feeder for it to be functional, but learning how to move stationary, back, forward, pick, press, receive, forehand, backhand, neutral. That's an elite defender. And that infielder in the video is Team USA. He was a former Team USA infielder. So he is a very talented. So the actions that you're seeing are actions that we want to replicate. Let's go to video number 11.
It long between hop, he lengthens the hop by bringing the hand back. Short hop, he picks it, lengthens the hop. Short hop, lengthens the hop. He takes a breather. Now I'm going to mix him up. He doesn't know what's coming now, so now it's unpredictable. He's back into his on the run slow roller position. Now he has to react, working from the ground up. Here we go. I'm just mixing him right now. He doesn't know what's coming. Working his hands, reading the hop, keeping it short or lengthening it.
In the video, at the end, he made 3 different slow roller plays. Play number 1 was a 2-handed slow roller, which you typically just receive or pick. There's really not a lot of pressing going on with a 2-handed slow roller play. And if you noticed, he just picked it, went right to his V slot. Play number 2, he received it. There was a slight give with it. And play number 3, he basically picked it. He just turned it over because he had a good hop. He had a short hop and he just turned it over. So he was incorporating what we worked on in the drill before. And if you noticed, he was working, picking, and receiving. And the distance of the hop from him is going to determine. If I'm running full speed for a slow roller and I'm taught to press on every ball, what happens if it's a long in between hop? You know what happens? I wear it. I'm going to wear it on my palm or my forearm. But if I know how to lengthen because I have judgment and I've worked the actions of actually reading the distance, the depth, the speed, and learning how to lengthen that long in between hop, you saw there on all those plays, he kept going back and he pick, press, receive. So he's just reading the ball, and the ball will tell you what the hands do, always working in posture and working from the ground up. And as we isolate and we work the hands and the judgment and the vision, when you get out on the field and someone starts hitting you balls, you get in the game and it's the 5th inning, and you have a tough play, you got to come get it one-handed or backhand or forehand or neutral. Your hands are going to respond unconsciously. We call it the hand dance. Your hands are basically dancing with the ball just like your feet. It's not one hand. It's not one hand action. It's multiple hand actions. It's the ball determines. The feet are going to move and hopefully put me in position to field short and long hops. But if I'm not in the right position for whatever reason, then I'm going to have to manipulate with reaching or receiving. Let's go to video number 12.
Drills. Drill number 1, no hop. Drill number 2, short hop. Drill number 3, high hop. Drill number 4, in between hop. Reach, press through. Reach, press through. Reach, press through. Drill number 5, routine. Ball left of center. Pick your short hop.
That's the 5-hop drill. The first one was no.
When it's hops, you have to have judgment. What does that mean? Judgment.
The 5-hop drill. And the first one, what you see is it's a no hop, and I'm basically working over the ball and underneath, working a press action. That's working the press. Second one was just straight short hops. I was just throwing a short hop into my hands, working short hop actions into the center, just working up, just picking. So the first one was press, working over and underneath. Second one was pick, throwing short hops. The second one was a high hop. I just tossed it up. And it was also a short hop, so I was just picking it as well, where my hands just work up and through back to the center of chest. The fourth one, I reach out as far as I can simulating a short in between. So I reach out to turn that short in between to a short hop. And the last one, if you notice, it was basically working rhythm. I was just working a routine play where I go left of center and I flip it up and I pick a short hop. If you notice the rhythm, the flow, and if you notice when watching Robert Passant, Javen Trosky, and you watch myself, what you see is you see rhythmic timing. The body is nothing but like a wheel just turning over as you feel the ball. It's just a sequence. It's like a chain. It's like a whip. It just flows. And anytime there's any hiccup or seam, it actually loses sequence. And that's abrupt to the rhythm and the timing and also to the eye of the viewer. So that's why when you see an infielder that is special, it's like he's dancing. It's effortless. It's smooth. It's suave. And our actions want to be in sequence, in time. And as I start to work away from my center, is all it does is puts me out of sequence and in timing, and it takes away my rhythm. Yes, I still can feel the ball, but my actions are going to actually they're going to suffer. So the press is for shortening the short in between hop. Over the last 6 months, I've been breaking down a lot of Major League video, and I've watched over 1,000 plays, and I'm going to give you just a rough breakdown of the percentages of pick, press, receive. Over 1,000 plays, there was less than 10 plays, and these are all plays. These are forehand, backhand, come and get it one-handed, sit back, hard hit balls, you name it. Every play in the book, over 1,000. There was less than 10 plays where an infielder actually moved their glove forward in a positive glove action to shorten a hop. The major leaguers are the best fielders in the world, hands down. And by the way, the runners that are running to first base typically are between a 4-0 and a 4-3. It's rarely to find a 4-0 to a 4-2 runner in high school down the line. That's a elite runner. Well, that's like the average major leaguer. They're running 4 to 4-3s on a consistent basis. So the efficiency is absolutely essential. And the repeatability, 162 games in 180 days, the repeatability is required at the highest level. Not only because it's the highest level, but two, they expect the most, obviously, of major league players. Yesterday, I broke down video. I watched over 40 plays from Nolan Arenado to Francisco Lindor to Javi Baez and to Chris Bryant. Out of the 40 plays, there was 20% of the plays were receive, 80% were pick, 0 were press. And we have this trend right now trending around America. It's not in the Dominican Republic. I've been coaching there for 20 years. I was there a month ago, and I'll be there again in about 5 days. And I was working with the Ozuna Academy, who, was the academy that helped develop Robert Passant. And now they have multiple infielders. They say they could be better than Robert. There's one right now that's been offered $5 million. He's like 14 years old. And there's several in their organization. I've never seen them in 10 years ever work the press play. And I'm not saying you should never work it. The point is that it's not the play. It's a tool in the toolbox so that you have the ability to take that short in between hop that appears. It appears seldom, especially if I have great judgment. Being a master infielder is about judgment. It's about reads. It's about timing. It's about footwork. So understanding that it's not about just isolating hands. The handwork really, in my opinion, should come secondary to the feet, to rhythm, to timing, to footwork, to a first step, to being on time. Those are the elite qualities. And when you get your feet working in rhythm and in time, the hands start to sequence together. So the hand actions start to follow. Thank you for being a part of this presentation. Pick, press, and receive, 3 actions. Last thing I want to say is this. Understand that when you're coaching a team, your job typically is to coach the team. It's about the group. It's not about the individual. You don't have time. It's not about player development. It's not like breaking down guys. I mean, you guys need to know your bunt defenses. You guys need to know your cuts and relays. You need to play as a team. You need to hit. You need to put it all together. It's a whole package. In my first coaching job, we were 0-11. It was my first coaching job. I was a high school coach about 30 years ago. And we didn't win one game. And this was the reason why, is because I was about player development. I was literally with the infielders working like an hour, trying to get their backhands right, teaching them how to move forward, back. And what I realized was, yeah, you might be able to backhand, but you have to play as a team and win games. And so understand there's a different season in the year for everything. And the elite players find time to work player development year round. That's what the elite do, before, after practice, weekends. But when you're with your team, understand you can't change players. You're not going to sit there and say, okay, now what we learned on this video, we're just going to go out and change everybody. What you need to do is work with the individual. And if he's making plays, I would leave him alone, to be honest with you. If he's struggling with a certain play, you might say, hey, that backhand you're going back on, you're getting beat because you're coming up. And if you actually give yourself a little bit more room as you receive it and use kind of the depth to give yourself a little longer hop, so you can make adjustments. But going out and reinventing the positions of how the hands work for each of your infielders, I would highly suggest that you do not do that. And find a time maybe in the off season or the summer and say, hey, let's really start breaking down the hand actions and let's start building, elite movers with elite hands. We call them athletic hands. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it.